Close your eyes for a moment and imagine this: a medieval village after sunset. The sky is dark, the streets are silent, and the only light comes from flickering torches and faint candles glowing through wooden shutters. There are no neon signs, no buzzing street lamps, no phones lighting up the night. Just darkness, thick, endless, and absolute. Yet inside those small wooden homes, families slept in ways that modern science now says might have been healthier, deeper, and more natural than the way we sleep today. Shocking, right? We often think we are more advanced, but the truth is that medieval people may have cracked the secret of sleep centuries before us. But how? What exactly did they do differently? And could those forgotten routines still help us today? Let's step back into the Middle Ages and uncover the sleep secrets that gave medieval people the best rest in history. First, understand this. Sleep in the medieval world was tied completely to nature. Without electricity, life was ruled by the rising and setting of the sun. People worked with daylight and rested with night. But here's the fascinating twist. Most medieval people didn't sleep in one long stretch like we do today. Instead, they had what historians call the two-sleep system. Families often went to bed shortly after sunset, slept for a few hours, and then, right around midnight, woke up. They called this time the watch. For an hour or two, they might pray, reflect, share stories, or even visit neighbors. Afterward, they went back to bed for their second sleep. Imagine it, a calm midnight intermission, a moment of peace in the middle of the night. Scientists today argue that this was not only natural, but actually better for human health, allowing the body to rest in cycles instead of forcing one long stretch. And this wasn't just a poor man's habit, it was universal. Rich or poor, farmer or noble, people followed this rhythm because the darkness demanded it. The night sky itself shaped their lives. Think about it: in our world of glowing screens and late night coffee, insomnia is a common struggle. But in medieval times, waking up at midnight wasn't a problem. It was part of the plan. What we call restlessness. Today, they embraced as routine. Doesn't it sound like they knew something we forgot? But there's more. Let's talk about where they slept. Medieval beds weren't the plush memory foam mattresses we know today. In fact, many beds were made of straw stuffed into sacks, layered with wool blankets or furs. At first glance, it sounds uncomfortable. But here's the secret: those natural materials actually regulated temperature better than many synthetic beds do now. Wool kept warmth in during the harsh winters, and straw allowed airflow in summer. Plus, people weren't sleeping alone in big empty rooms. Families, and sometimes even servants, often shared the same space. Body heat kept them warm. And while privacy was rare, the sense of security was high. Being close to others meant feeling safe. And safety is one of the most powerful triggers of deep sleep. Now here's a detail you might not expect. Medieval people had bed curtains. These were thick cloths that surrounded the bed, creating a small cocoon. In drafty stone houses or wooden cottages, these curtains trapped warmth, blocked out light, and even provided a little privacy. Today, scientists talk about blackout curtains and sleep masks. But guess what? Medieval people had their own version centuries ago. But what about sound? Surely medieval nights were noisy with animals creaking wood and stormy winds. Surprisingly, medieval villages were far quieter than our world today. No cars racing by, no airplanes overhead, no humming refrigerators. The loudest sound at night might have been a dog barking or an owl calling in the woods. Studies now show that our modern world of constant background noise disrupts deep sleep more than we realize. Medieval people may not have had silence, but their nights were filled with natural sounds, not the buzz of machines. That difference alone could have made their rest deeper and more refreshing. And let's not forget the role of food and drink. Without late night snacks, sugary sodas, or endless caffeine, medieval diets shaped sleep in a natural way. Supper was usually simple: bread, porridge, or stew, and eaten well before bedtime. Heavy meals before sleep were rare, which meant digestion didn't interrupt their rest. Herbal remedies also played a role. Drinks like warm milk with honey, or teas made from chamomile and valerian, were common nighttime traditions. These herbs are still recommended today as natural sleep aids. Imagine sipping a simple herbal tea by the fire before tucking in. No screens, no bright lights, just calm preparation for bed. Now here's another hidden secret: the connection between sleep and faith. In medieval times, nighttime wasn't just about resting the body, but also about nurturing the soul. Midnight prayers were common, especially during the first wake. People believed that night was a sacred time, when silence made it easier to connect with God. This spiritual focus brought calm and routine to their nights, something modern psychology now says improves sleep quality. When the mind is peaceful, the body follows. But what about children? How did kids sleep in a world without lullabies from devices or soft, glowing nightlights? In truth, children learned the rhythm of sleep from their families. They went to bed early, often tucked beside parents or siblings, wrapped in woolen blankets. The closeness gave them comfort, and the consistent routine gave them stability. Today, sleep experts stress the importance of bedtime rituals. Medieval families had them naturally: stories by firelight, evening prayers, or quiet songs before bed. These rituals prepared not just children, but entire households for deeper rest. Now, let's step into the homes of the wealthy. Did nobles sleep better? Surprisingly, not always. Rich families had grand beds with feather mattresses and fine linens, but these heavy feather beds could trap heat and become stifling. Servants often had to shake and air them out daily. Poorer families with straw beds may have slept cooler and, in some cases, more comfortably. This tells us something powerful: sleep quality in the Middle Ages didn't always depend on wealth. It depended on rhythm, routine, and natural alignment with the world around them. And here's the most shocking part: science today is rediscovering the wisdom of medieval sleep. The idea of two sleeps is being studied as a natural cycle. Herbal teas and calming bedtime rituals are making a comeback. Even the use of heavy blankets, what we now call weighted blankets, echoes the layered quilts of medieval families. It seems that what we thought was primitive may actually have been advanced. So what can we learn from them? That sleep isn't just about comfort or luxury. It's about rhythm, environment, and mindset. The medieval world gave people complete darkness, quiet nights, predictable routines, and spiritual calm. These, more than any mattress or gadget, may have been the true secrets to the best sleep in history. Now pause and think: when was the last time you truly experienced complete darkness, without glowing screens or artificial lights? When was the last time you heard only natural sounds at night, or followed your body's rhythm instead of your phone's alarm? Maybe medieval people had something we've lost. Maybe the best sleep isn't in the future, but in the past. So the next time you struggle to fall asleep, remember this: hundreds of years ago, in a world without electricity, people slept better than us. Not because they had more comfort, but because they had more balance. And that might just be the greatest sleep secret of them all.